I'm going to upload a video in which I am trying to describe the procedure, the action to be done or action required to overcome any waste uh, loading problem or startup problem. For that, what is to be done? Actually, first we have to be tried to repair it by using the ways startup repair or ways repair, like that. If that will fail, then only this type of actions is to be done, and it requires some skill, knowledge and habit of doing such type of work. Then only that can be perfectly attended. At first, remove all the terminal connections at the back of the PC, here the desktop. I am trying to describe the procedure by using a desktop. Open or remove all the connections from the PC. Now remove or open the left cover panel, and then the other one. The panels are required to remove to take further action inside the desktop. In case of any laptop, the back or bottom cover is to be removed. In some cases of laptop, the keyboard panel is required to remove or lift it up from its position to reach to the inside further. Now, at first, open or remove the connections. This is a data cable, power cable from the hard disk and also from the motherboard. Both terminals of the cables are to be removed first. The data cable and the backside power cable of the hard disk have been removed, and also the other end of these two cables are to be removed from the motherboard. Now the hard disks are to be removed from its position. To do that, the holding screws from both sides are to be opened. After that, the hard disk can be taken out or removed from its position. For further attention, this is the cleaning of the connectors of the hard disk. During removing the hard disk, precautions are to be taken so that any other cable should not get damaged. Now the RAM are to be removed from its position. To do that, the holding clips of the RAM or RAMs are to be pressed to unlock the RAMs. After unlocking the RAMs, the RAM card cards are to be removed from its position for inspection and cleaning of the same. Now, the connecting terminals of the hard disk and RAMs are to be cleaned. From my video, it can be seen that the terminals have got badly contaminated or corroded, which is to be cleaned. To clean the terminals or connectors of the hard disk, very fine sandpaper or non-dust erasers can be used. Here I am using a very fine sandpaper so that the accumulated moisture, dust, dirt can be removed without damaging the terminals. After cleaning the terminals, these to be cleaned further by using any cleaning agent. For this purpose, I'd like to suggest to use rubbing alcohol. It is also known as doctor's alcohol and is available in any medical shop. And the rubbing alcohol should not be more than 70% concentration. For cleaning purposes, one can use any paint brush or earbuds or any kind of cotton, and it can be seen from my video that during cleaning of the terminals, the connectors of the hard disk and mother and RAMs, the earbuds is getting dirty, which indicates that there were lots of dust and dirt and corroded materials on the surface of the terminals. During cleaning of the terminals of both RAMs and hard disk, extra precaution is to be taken so that the terminals should not get damaged. During cleaning by rubbing of sandpapers, high pressure should not be given, and the cleaning work should be done with very low pressure. The connectors or the terminals of the RAMs are cleaning by using an earbuds after soaking with rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol having concentration 70% or less than that is very ideal for this type of cleaning. After completion of the cleaning of the terminals of the hard disk and also RAM, at first hard disk is to be fitted or placed at its position, and during that precautions to be taken so that any part or any item, any material of the motherboard should not get damaged by rubbing or hitting by the motherboard. After fitment of the motherboard, that is after placing the motherboard at its position, the motherboard is to be secured by fitting and tightening the two screws from both sides. And after completion, the work of securing motherboard at its position, the connections of motherboard, that is its connections for data cable and power cable, are to be fitted. The front side cable is the data cable and the rear one is power cable. After fitting the hard disk, now the RAMs or maybe RAM are to be fitted at its slots or positions. There are like particular position of the RAM to avoid any mistake of fitment of RAM, and for which the slot marked on the RAMs are to be inspected, and according to that the RAMs are to be fitted at its position. And after fitment, both sides securing system with the clips are to be placed in the groove the RAMs from its both side, so that RAMs will not get loose during using. This is very important and should be checked once or twice. after completion of the work. The connections of data cable from motherboard to hard disk and power cable from the multi-power supply of SMPS to hard disk and the fitment of the RAMs and its securing system is to be rechecked or cross-checked to avoid any error in the system during running. Now, after fitment of the both side panels or covers of the desktop, here the desktop, uh, the necessary connections at the back panel of the desktop are to be made, and after connecting all the connectors like power supply to the PC, connections between the desktop and the monitor, the connections of the speaker or the amplifier, all these type of connections are to be checked properly whether these have been done perfectly or not. After doing all these works perfectly and after being confirmed that everything is all right, then necessary power supply is to be made to the desktop. And here it is seen that as there was a problem of a setup after put on the desktop. At first, the system starts to start up repair, and it is good for PC. Do not try to avoid this process, though it is known that everything is all right, this one is not required. But as the system is trying to do that, the system is to be alert to do the requirement. The OS is booting. It means that it is preparing to load all the applications and processes which are to be loaded during starting, and this